We're live, guys. What's up, guys? Bullish Bodybuilders, episode number 2. Guys,
Yeah.
guys, we're not playing around here.
With
His
those
guns
guns.
probably are double the size of mine, but you can't tell with this. You don't know how big I am compared to him since I'm close to the camera. Anyway, guys, we're talking about internet nomad success. He's guiding me. We're guiding each other to a life of fruitful financial freedom and business opportunities galore. Guys, that's exactly what we're doing. There's nothing else we're doing. We want to dominate. We want to be fair. We want to make money and be valuable at the same exact time, guys. Very possible to do. And you can do it in large amounts, but you have to set up your reputation right. Sam, for the people that don't know you that are watching this and everyone around, what's up? How you doing?
I am doing awesome. I'm doing excellent. I was looking forward to this, coming on here, chatting with you, and learning about that project that you were just talking about. You had a live stream last night about. I want to learn more about that. I'm working on some stuff in the house. I'm working on another project. I didn't mention this to you yet, but I might as well tell you here. I made like a fairly substantial investment for myself, like around 40 grand early last year.
Oh, yeah.
And that in something in the physical world that I'm not supposed to talk about yet, but that should be hopefully coming to fruition in the next relatively, 1 to 3, 4, 5 months time frame. And when that comes through, I should have a lot more liquid to be able to put into crypto, which is going to be super exciting.
And you don't need much, my guy. You don't need much. That's the best part. You're going to get a $10,000 sum of money. And if you spend 3, you're like on top of the game. In crypto, you have to remember, I always tell people, wait. Let's wait this out instead of spending all our money at one time. Let's wait this out. $200, $300 every week, depending on your budget. This is all you need. If you do this for 2 years, you're done investing for life. Generally, in my experience as a human in the last 13 years watching crypto, I haven't been watching crypto for that long, but I can read the history, of course. And I can extrapolate that however I'd like. And if something does something for 13 years, I'm going to guess number 14, it's going to do it again.
Bro, this is insane because I don't think it's going to necessarily replace everything. Like a lot of people say this can replace everything. And I've probably said that before I got a better understanding that blockchain is going to replace everything. Because what happens when a new technology comes out? We try to take our old world way of viewing how things were done, and we take that and we lay it on top of this new technology. It happens in games or other things. I don't have a great example to show you.
It doesn't happen in much in the United States, unfortunately, because of business practice. Like there's few companies that do things right. Don't get me wrong. Tesla does things right. People do things right from the ground up, and they have actual ideas that they want to execute on. But most companies dilute things, pay people less, try to make it cost less, try to make it, and that's just the name of business. But I agree, like with crypto in general, there's nothing more efficient than no energy being cost to have everyone financially, you know what I mean? It's just the best way, the most efficient way. There's nothing more efficient than proof of stake because there's no energy being put out in the world and the government's just doing all the energy for us. We're just collecting. We're just collectors. We just wait for the government to spend as much money as humanly possible. Think about 40% of the dollars ever in circulation being sent to crypto and stocks this year. That's all that happened. That's all that occurred.
So let me share something with you, and then I want to put you on the spot from something that we talked about yesterday. I don't know if it was on the call or right after the call about the money making online. But first, the crypto.com did a survey to the people who use the site and whatnot. And they also track a bunch of stuff. So let me pull this up real quick and read you this astonishing. This is the first paragraph or first sentence. The growth and this is their annual report thing that they put out. The growth in cryptocurrency adoption is breathtaking, no matter which metric you look at. Total cryptocurrency market capitalization, and I know you don't like market cap, but to understand it from a macro sense, I think it's important. Total cryptocurrency market capitalization has grown from 190 billion in 2020, January 2020. So what do we have here? We have 2020, 2021, and then we're 3 months. Actually, today's March 1st, so happy March 1st. From 190 billion to 3 trillion. 190 billion to 3 trillion in 24 months.
But it's very clear. Like, it's so clear why. It's not unclear. Like, it's so clear. Like, if you really look into this stuff, which people start to do, and it's just how much money, how many digits is Mr. Reserve, because there's no money's being printed out, guys. There's no physical dollars being printed out from anywhere. There's just digits being added to a spreadsheet. Those digits are just finding their way to crypto because that's the most efficient system. It's very sticky because the APY is real. And this is what nobody wants to tell you, guys. I can exchange all my crypto for dollars right now if I wanted to. So stop with all the FUD. It's stupid. People stake a little bit of it. They don't stake all of it. Come on, guys. Let's be serious. Staking is a function for retirement that people use in Hex and to gain the most on inflation over time. But there's other things you can do in the short term.
So now I want to put you on the spot. We were talking about making money, and potentially one avenue to potentially bring in some money would be affiliates. So you had an idea about the shields and stuff. Do you want to talk about that or not?
Yeah. So me and my buddy are coming up with a deal to have a promo code JimRat Crypto for some of these shields. He's a small business, so we're going into it slow. And yeah, that's how I'm going to start making a little money online, doing independent companies that are it's no skin off anyone's back if they don't buy that shit. I don't give a shit. If Sam ever bought a shield in his damn life, I wouldn't give a rat's ass. But if he did, that'd be cool. And if he wanted something like that, and that would be great. And if he wants to use my promo code, that'd be great.
That's the perfect way to go into it. I don't want anybody to use my codes unless it's what they want to get whatever it is that's associated with me, but also because they want to support me at the same time as getting whatever it is. So if you want to support Scott when that shit comes out, I'm sure we'll be talking about it live on here. So tell me about that. Tell me about that conversation you had last night.
So last night I went on with Gerardo. He's one of the premier Hex OGs in the space, probably the youngest, like one of the youngest. He's like there's a couple guys between 22 and 26 that are really run the younger man scene as far as they were there first. He is one of those guys that was there first. I don't know if he was day 1 or day 50, but he was up in there. Genius kid, genius. And he decided that NFTs were going to be popular on Pulse Chain. Well, he didn't decide that. He just looked at the numbers on Ethereum where they're paying $150 for an NFT mint. And imagine if they were paying no dollars for an NFT mint. So he wanted to capitalize on that. But OpenSea, which was let me just pitch you on it. OpenSea, which was extremely successful. This is just the same thing. It's not a fork. It's not the exact code, but it's a platform for NFTs. It's a platform for NFTs, and it's already being used in huge volume. It's already, dude, the volume is redonkulous, dude. You wouldn't even want to look at those numbers. How many kids are going on NFT bullshit is redonkulous, dude. You would never, it would bend your mind. It would.
So if you can, try to look at the camera, then it would probably be better.
Sorry.
For people over. No, I do the same thing. That's why I had to push myself back. So try to.
Yeah, here we go. I'm going to put the mic right here.
Okay, perfect. So I listened to a podcast this morning on Solana. And Solana is like a level 1 or chain 1 or whatever it's called for Ethereum with faster transactions, substantially faster transactions, and substantially cheaper transactions for smart contracts. They also have NFTs. Is the NFT space just going to continue to expand, or does this have something that's going to be different than some of the other things?
Well, you're staking. We're talking about passive income here, buddy. We're not talking about bullshit pictures. This man is a Hexican. He understands passive income, staking rewards, yield rewards. He understands all of it. And he understands why it helps price performance. And he understands why it makes things so sticky. So he's just a guy with a good amount of information that's making something like Richard Hart. He's not the same person as Richard Hart, but he's just trying to make a better NFT platform. And he's using tokenomics like, when you stake your rewards, you get free Pulse. That way the Pulse system can benefit from him as well.
That's interesting. So you get, what is it?
Your reward for staking the mint token is Pulse. So whatever the percentage is, I don't know what the percentage will be, but whatever that percentage is, you'll just be making pulse while you don't sell your shit. And if you want to sell it, just sell it. But like, you don't have to stake it for a certain amount of days or anything.
Wow. So you put it into like some type of liquidity pool, stability pool, whatever you want to call it.
Well, yeah, every token that I'm talking about, there will never be a token that I talk about moving forward that doesn't have that feature.
And why is that? Because it's just so
that feature
awesome.
exists.
Because it's like the best thing that's available.
The feature exists and it helps price performance and you make more money.
How is that getting funded? Did he break that down? Is it because of the transactions?
As far as funding and his devs and everything, that's up to him and his business partners. I don't know about any of that stuff, but he has devs and shit.
No. I mean, for like, how does the Pulse
sacrifice? It's a sacrifice chamber, just like Pulse X and just like Pulse Chain.
And then some of that goes towards acquiring Pulse.
Well, no, all of the money you sacrifice, you get mint token. And then you can stake that mint token for Pulse.
And then as people trade, a portion of that pays for.
Well, you need mint to use the system, I'm sure. Or whatever, like whatever Mint does, I'm sure it does a little something within the system. And what the price performance of Mint, knowing Gerardo, and you can watch my stream yesterday, he went through all this. He basically was pitching to me that I never have to look at a fucking NFT in my whole life. And I said, there you go, buddy. Now you know what we're talking about, because I don't want to look into dumbass pictures. I don't care. I've never bought a skin on Call of Duty. I'm not that type of dude. I've never been that type of dude. I mean, I've had addictions before I've spent too much money on, but not like games and like pictures. Like, it just doesn't tickle my fancy, really. But anyway, so on the Mintra thing, guys, there's a sacrifice phase that's going on right now. People get mad at me for supporting it. I'm not really supporting it. I don't even know if this is necessarily support. I'm just passing along information. I put $300 in, guys, $300. I didn't break my balls or anything. Like, I just told him, hey, I sacrificed for Mintra and let's do this. And happened to be 30 minutes before our stream, he got $4 million sent to the sacrifice address. And he was pretty much out of his mind. Like he was just like he just was like, what the hell? Like the whole time. But because people gave him a lot of shit. And then the one person that definitely supports Hex is in his project. But guess what? Now the dude has a stake in his project. He could completely dump it. It goes deep.
But you think that person will?
No, I wouldn't. But that's an angle of understanding. Like,
correct, it is
possible. You gotta understand, what if this dude had bad intentions towards Gerardo? Now, it doesn't make sense. There's nothing that makes sense about somebody dumping the price of a token that's definitely going to go up.
So think about that from a very, like,
it doesn't make sense from a logistic perspective. It makes no sense.
So, but if you have somebody that has a lot of capital that gets into a new project like Pulse Chain, right? So you have, how I think about it, and tell me if you think about it differently, but so I think about Pulse Chain as like the trunk. Then you have multiple tree branches off of the main trunk, right? And that's going to be things like liquid loans. That's going to be like, say, Hex is going to be off of Pulse. All these other pieces are going to be off of Pulse Chain, right? And each one of those pieces is not going to be as big as like the main trunk could be on there, right? And I completely forgot where I was going with that. But
just know that one person can do whatever they want. There's a couple people out there that could do whatever they want.
Oh, I remember. So if somebody's going through and funding all these branches that are coming off the main trunk, then they have the ability to dump those at any point. But
you got to think about it from a malicious point of view. Like, this is going to benefit Pulse Chain. People need to build on Pulse Chain. The Pulse Chain was meant to be built on. Guys, please understand what I'm saying. Pulse Chain was meant to be built on by guys like Gerardo, who are cooler than guys that want all your money in a scam. Gerardo came on with me on an interview for 3 hours and then talked to me for an hour and a half after. You know what I mean? He's not just shilling shit. He's just a normal dude. And I'm not saying he's not trying to be rich as F. He is. But he's doing it in like the most legit way a human could do it. Make a project, like fund a project, put your face on it. That's putting your ball sack on the line, dude, where I'm from.
And I'm curious to see if there's like what the adoption will be on that kind of thing.
Dude, we're going to have so much to cover.
I know. so
Our
I
full-time
was,
job will be covering this when Pulse drops, dude. There's no chance anything else because there's going to be like 11 projects attached to it that no one's covering.
well, and who knows about their shit? I'm sure that's we don't even know about yet. That is still getting people are building right now to put on Pulse Chain.
Pulse chain is a walled garden. They call it a walled garden. That means people within the system actually want the system to grow. People within the Bitcoin system don't give a shit. They want your money and they want all of it. People within the Pulse chain system sell 1% of their bag so the price doesn't get hurt while they can take profits like a gentleman. Taking 300 grand out of the pool does not hurt the price at all. Taking $800,000 at this point probably doesn't hurt the price at all. Doing a one-time order for a couple $1 million is going to hurt the price, and there's no reason to do it because it doesn't even help the person. You can literally just do a limit order and not have to get slippage and you're fine, but people are impatient and people want to dump the price. So we're trying to educate the community too. We're educating the community. Guys, you have $10 million. Why don't you take out 300K? Why don't you take out 300K, not dump the price of the product that you have the rest of your bags in, and learn how to delay gratification in more than one way. Because when you learn this system is sticking, you learn the system is stinking. It's not going anywhere. It can't unless there's war.
I think the people who potentially are going to dump or would dump in terms of like the people who are perceiving it from the outside is say I've got, several $1 million or several $100 million and I have another project investment that I want to do. And it's not that I want to, it's not that I want to necessarily dump that, but I want to take, say, 10 million from where it is currently, and I want to put that somewhere else. And it's not that, okay, I understand it's going to cost 4 points in slippage, or it's going to cost this, but I want my 10 million all at once so that I can put 10 million, because for us, right, we might be doing a couple $100 or a couple $1,000 into things, right? But when you add a 0 or 2 zeros or 3 zeros, it literally won't make sense for us to do $200, $700, $2,000 in a couple of years. It's not going to make sense for us to take our time to do that. And that's where some people are at, where it's like, if it's not more than $1 million, it doesn't fucking make sense.
But they have to look at the chart, because if you invested $1,200 300 days ago, you'd be a millionaire.
But from our perspective, right? If you already have $63 million and you don't want to spend your time on, I'm going to say small, but I don't mean that in a derogatory. I mean, and it's just like you're not spending $5,000 on shit. You're going to be like, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to take 1/63 or $1 million of what I'm doing. I'm going to put that into something else. So I want that right away.
Yeah, but there's room for that too, and you'll be depressed the rest of your life when you do that. Anyone will. You will be destroyed, wrecked, absolutely heartbroken for the rest of your days, because you would have been the most rich person on the human face of the earth.
But who knows what they put that into?
Well, no, you can't outpace Hex. There's nothing that outpaces Bitcoin. There's not a company in the world that's outpaced Bitcoin.
But what if that was like, okay, I'm going to buy this absolutely stunning penthouse on the beach.
Well, no, if it was a great thing, like that's great. People do that, dude. There's Lamborghinis, Ferraris, McLarens, Rolexes, $1 million Rolexes everywhere, beach houses, penthouses, Puerto Rican houses. People inviting me all over the country. These people are rich as fuck, dude. They're rich as fuck.
What do you think about this idea? I like real estate. Taking a real estate project, say 100 units, and all the people who rent, give them the opportunity to buy into the project with blockchain. So say there's a complex right here in Florida and they get to buy into that project. They can live there, but they can also buy in, so that buying in allows them to get a portion of the profits from the property. So they can kind of offset, like in one way to think about it would be like you could lock in your rent, meaning your rent will never go up because you're basically getting the profit on the left hand and you're paying it on the right hand. So that way if your rent goes up by $50, that means the property is going to be more profitable, which means you're getting in the $50 on the right hand. So that net effect is, it's a way to not increase your rent. And give people, like, you can take that when you move somewhere else. You don't need to give that thing up to democratize the real estate piece of things, right? Because you've got these giant companies like BlackRock and Blackstone that are buying up tens of thousands of single family homes, but also all of the multifamily homes. And they're bundling them together to sell that shit to investors who have money, leaving out the people who don't have money. And this way it allows those people who don't have money to get in. Maybe it's $50 they put in towards it. Maybe it's $150. Maybe it's
Well, a lot of these dudes are selling the bottom in order to, well, another metric of Hex that a lot of people don't know about necessarily is the fact that the OA is slowly has less of the supply over time. That's kind of how the staking function works. So basically it's bleeding out the OA supply into the regular supply, but the regular supply is held by people that generally love Hex. There are a couple bad people that just trade, and they're not bad people, but they just trade constantly. They get wrecked. You look at their accounts, they lost. They all lost. Never once did a trader win in Hex. They lost because you cannot out trade that chart. If you're 5 minutes off, you lose. And if you got to wait 6 months to get a move. So it's like, it happens all at once. When you see it all happen at once and you know it's legit and it goes down 80% again and you see it all the way through, you're going to be like, this is going to happen again. You're just like, this is, and then there's guys that are like, I'm going to make this happen again with my bags. You know what I mean? There's people on Twitter, they're saying, I will make Pulse Chain do 1,000x myself. Literally. That's that dude in that group chat. He's literally like, can't wait for the end of this bull market so I can blow everyone's brains out of their head with when I start buying Pulse Chain.
So this is reminds me of like hedge funds, right? Because you have the capacity. If say you and I together have several $1 million of some cryptocurrency, we could, and I'm not saying this is the case or that we are at that point yet, but you and I could get together with four other people who will also have $5 million or $6 million each, and we have 10 guys with everybody who's $5 million. There's $50 million that we can all put in to start purchasing something to really influence the price. And I'm sure that shit happens that nobody like talks about publicly, unless you're more aware.
They talk about it publicly. It's all public because everyone knows who has what account because they study it all day long. And you can tell after a while because there's people that do chain analysis. They just look at every single sell and buy you've done and then pinpoint the person that's doing it via like their behavior online because you can tell. And it's called like C5, C4, C3. Those are the accounts because that's the numbers at the end of their account. And people know when they start moving that those are the whales. Those are the guys. There's a couple guys. And we don't know if it's Richard, someone else, anyone. Could be anyone. But we know a couple of them by name on Twitter.
So, well, when something like that, like one of those giant accounts starts moving, do people just try to imitate what they're doing to?
Hexicans know all of this stuff, right? We've seen the God Whale do his thing. We've seen everyone do the thing. We don't like to sell because we're scared. We're scared because we know that people, or at least I know, like the price is going up and I don't want to follow his moves because he could be telling everyone to do something. Whales are tricky, dude. They don't fucking play. They don't tell people exactly what they're doing. They might say that they're going to pump the price, but they don't tell you when. They don't tell you, it could be tomorrow. It could be tomorrow. You want to sell your bags and try, maybe tomorrow you can sell and then buy back lower. But in my experience, the chart's gone up in just disgusting fashion. So it's like, if I'm too scared, whenever I sell my bags or even put it into USDC, I'm so scared that I'm going to get out pumped because I'm like, I could have just taken 5% off the top of this on the next pump and I wouldn't have had to do any of this.
Can you see, so say one of those big accounts, if somebody starts to move something, whether it's Hex or something else, and they move it, can you see where that's going to, or do they use something to make it?
There's Tornado Cash, which some people use, but no, generally you can see. Nobody really cares. Most people aren't bashful about that, but there are people that use Tornado Cash, which is like a thing that makes it anonymous on the back end. You can still see the transaction. You just can't really like see much after that.
Oh, okay. You can see that it went into Tornado Cash, but then you don't know what's the next.
Yeah, if you look into it, I don't know the specifics on that, but a bunch of nerds told me that.
Tornado Cash. I'm gonna write that down.
Tornado Cash is a very popular way for sneaky people to do stuff, and it's used for that reason. It's legal, but it's used for the reason of if you're using it for a reason. If you
Sounds like
understand.
something. Yeah, no, it sounds very interesting. Like I would.
Isn't it crazy though, dude? Like, and then if Richard Hart learns all this shit on the Pulse chain, and we're doing like secure fucking transactions that no one can see and shit. Like, I don't know, bro. I'm gonna stick around for all that.
But that's some crazy shit. Oh, yo, so we didn't talk about this about liquid loans, but you know how there's no interest on the liquid loans?
There's a lot of interest in liquid
No
loans.
interest, as in like you take out a loan.
Oh yeah.
And there's no payment period.
So what do I have to do? Give me the shtick.
Okay.
When I sacrifice.
So when you get your pulse, you could take some
No,
portion.
when I get my liquid loans token.
Oh, okay, cool, awesome. When you get your liquid loans token, so you can use it without actually like.
I don't know. I'm asking you. I don't know.
Yeah, so you have three part, right? You have the borrower who can stake Pulse or basically put Pulse into a vault, which is a smart contract, and then get USDL out. But then you can also contribute to a stability pool, which is going to give you the loan token, which you're going to get for sacrificing. The loan token you can stake, and that gets a fee for redemption and a fee for borrowing. So they get USDL and they get Pulse, like the Mintra thing you were mentioning.
Yeah, see, it all comes down to the integrity of the owners. So we have to remember that. At the end of the day, guys, these projects are outside of your understanding generally. There's a couple guys. There's a couple guys that can do all that stuff, but in general, no. You know, like you got to trust the person that's doing it and just watch them. If you watch them, you'll know rather quickly they'll be completely dodgy and then they'll eventually disappear. And that's what occurs. And it's not transparency. It's not openness. It's not showing people the code. If you see stuff like that, you can really imagine that they're being way more transparent with what they're putting down. You know what I mean? Like he's literally like showing us every single update to the website, like while the devs have it in the back room. And it's just nice to know, like, he's not rugging anyone, guys. He's wide open spaces, brother. He knows be 100,000 people coming at his throat. So, I mean, you got to understand human nature enough to realize, like, he could be a 1 in a million narcissist that wants to blow up his own project, but why would he ever want to do that? Why wouldn't he just want it to keep succeeding? Why wouldn't he just want to beat everyone? We're all willing to market for him.
Correct. And I don't think we maybe have the capacity to understand that, like, narcissism, like, because that's not who we are. Like, we just don't see that.
Dude, I've been there. Like, I've been down that road before too. Like, not like in the money world, but like in the other world. So, I mean, I know what it's like. It's fleeting if you're a normal person. If you're a normal person, it comes and goes for a little bit of time. But anyone with a brain wants to be healthy enough to like sleep at night. So, you know,
I see that, and I don't know enough about the space to know if anybody else is doing that. But from the conversations with you and what I'm seeing, it doesn't appear that way. But I'm also really, really new to crypto in terms of like my understanding. So I want to keep seeing other projects to see how they're doing things, because that'll give me a better appreciation for what is happening here.
Yep, and you'll appreciate Hex and Pulse a lot more because some of these projects will get wrecked. For sure. I mean, without a doubt. Like, it's keeping a project together. I mean, maybe they won't get wrecked. I don't know. I'm not saying any project in particular, but from what I've seen in the industry, it's like most people don't come up with anything. And when they do come up with something, it just turns into a price appreciating coin that has no technology attached to it. So it's like the best things are like the dog coins are like the actual good coins. Like in the middle, there's like a bunch of idiots just like saying stuff. But there is really good crypto that your eyes are not open to for sure, and myself.
And I don't know if they're as transparent or as
Right.
they come across as authentic in trying to do the right thing.
They don't want to take over the world. They just want to have a good project. Richard Hart openly says he's trying to take over the financial world on podcast in front of everyone, and he explains why. And it makes a lot of sense. He's like, I've done everything else, and I don't know what else to dream for. He's like, I don't know what else to shoot for. Like, this is it. Like, this is crypto's the future. So he's just like, we always say, like, we're here because of the value. We're not here because we love numbers necessarily. We just like value. I just like free money. I like the best stuff. I want to be talking about the best shit. This is the best shit by a mile.
100%. I have a buddy that's going to come on at some point, and he has Shibu or whatever. That's a dog thing, right?
Shib.
Shib or something. I know nothing about that. Is there any like utility to that or anything,
No,
or is it like Doge?
no, it's just a ghost coin that people buy because it's funny. Literally, no, it has nothing on it.
And there's nothing you can do with it either.
No, maybe you could stake it in stake pools, but like that's like third party,
Oh, you'd have to take your Shib thing, and
which
put
we
it
don't
into-
like to do because we like our. This is another concept with staking because lots of coins have stakes, but not a lot of coins have decentralized interest. They have you can stake, but you're in someone else's account and they're giving you funds. They're basically saying, "Here, put all your money in my account, and I'll give you a couple of nickels." And then people are like, "Yay!" And then they run away to Tijuana.
So this way, with Hex, by burning the tokens, it's not in anybody else's account.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
So if I have a bunch of Hex, where I have 100,000 tokens, and I want to stake that in some protocols, I take my $100,000 and I put it into Scott's protocol. Now you have access to my coins.
Well, technically, I have the keys to your coins, but I've told everyone I'm not going to rug them. That's what everyone does. That is crypto. Celsius, all these other companies, all these fake DeFis, those are their coins, not yours.
So to get around that, Hex was like, okay.
No, Hex was like, listen, I'm not going to rob everyone, and I'm going to do it correctly.
But that's why they burn them. So that they cannot, they literally take that option away. If you burn your shit, nobody
exactly. The staking protocol for Hex is revolutionary, decentralized technology for sure. I mean, out of this world. What's the Nobel Prize award-winning algorithm?
I don't know.
I'm telling you, like the algorithm and the code in that created for inflation and distributed through T-shares, like he invented that. You have
to be really deep to invent stuff.
He didn't invent staking. He invented staking decentralized protocol, which gives you trustless yield. Trustless meaning that no one else is touching their grubby little hands on it.
So there's lots of staking protocols, as far as I'm aware, where you can take your coin and put it onto somebody else's protocol or somebody else's like project type thing to stake it, or you can stake it by leaving it in a protocol, right? Something like the Mintra, right? But this one is different. Is that what you're saying? Where none of those none of them are like Hex.
No.
Or now they're all starting, the ones on Pulse Stream.
Well, yes, because now the standard has changed. Hex has changed the standard. Now guys want decentralized interest. We've seen too many people get rugged. Solana was down. Solana's been hacked. Everything's been hacked, dude. ADA, Cardano has done nothing in 6 years except appreciate in price and lie. Ethereum does nothing but talk and lie and say they're going to upgrade things that everyone with a brain knows that they can't. And, it's just full of lies. It's marketing. It's full of lies. And then there's Teslas that come out.
Do you think Ethereum will ever actually get to staking? Because I just finished their book.
You can stake Ethereum, I'm pretty sure.
But I'm sorry, proof of work versus what's the other one?
Proof of stake. Yeah, there'll be 100% proof of stake.
But they've been saying that. I've just finished their book, and they've been saying
it'll be years.
2017. It's already 5 years.
It'll be years. I would put more years on that, another year or two on that, because they don't understand. But what Pulse Chain is going to do is lighten the load for them a little bit. We're going to do them a little solid. We're going to take after users. So,
what do you think is necessary for Pulse Chain to be bigger than?
Nothing, just time.
Ethereum?
Just time. Adoption, marketing. It's a better system. It's just a better system. It's just the same system, but better. It's just instead of a weightlifting set, you have a weightlifting set with spotter racks, and you have everything to make sure you're not get hurt, and you have a Smith machine and all that shit at your gym too. But like the first bench press was dope, but like I want all the machines now. Somebody invented them.
Do you expect that over the long term, by long term I mean like 10 years or more, that Pulse Chain will be bigger than Ethereum?
Yeah, absolutely. Without a doubt in my mind. Ethereum's trash. Ethereum has proven itself to be the best technology ever existed at the time. And just like Bitcoin, it just fell a little bit behind mentally that they couldn't keep up with the onboarding of new users. Not the onboarding, but the the load. Basically, they just designed a system that was meant for 2013 to 2018, and they can change it, but it's very difficult because everyone's using the network. No one's using Pulse Chain, so they can just fix everything.
Does Pulse Chain allow for like a much greater throughput?
Yes, the highest of all time.
Would there be a capacity on that? Like, what is
Yeah,
it?
it'll tinker down.
Because Visa can process something like 25,000 transactions per second. Is that like something that it could potentially go to, or maybe it's 250,000?
It could be more. I'm sure it would be more. Whatever it is, it's probably more, but I don't know. He says all those numbers all the time, but I never remember what they are.
Okay.
When it comes to the throughput and he mentions those specifically. He hasn't streamed a lot since you've learned about him. Trust me, he streams a lot. When Pulse Chain's over, he's going to be streaming every 3 days, and you'll never have a question again. Like, all this knowledge I have is all from his live streams for the most part, and then doubling it back on other people's streams to see what everyone else is talking about. But he hasn't been wrong yet. He called, and people always mention that calling the Bitcoin top on the day, but nobody really understands how crazy that really is. Like, the day Bitcoin was at its highest, Richard Hart said, "This is the last day it'll go up." And ever since that day, it's gone down. And he published the chart like before it started going down. He said it fell out of the parabola. It's going to fall 80%. And he still says that. He's like, we got another 30% to go, guys. 20% to go, or whatever it is with Bitcoin. That's what he thinks.
What do you think? Because I thought I read something, I'm pulling it up right now, that within the last like 48 hours or 72 hours, Bitcoin has started to.
No, it's a fake out.
Yeah. No, not substantial. Not gonna.
No,
continue.
Total fake out.
Cool.
That's what I think, because people do this
market?
every pump. It goes up 19%, it drops 36. It goes up 14%, it drops 22. We fell out of the bull market, guys. We are no longer in the bull market. We have not enough economic energy for 6 months to put this thing above any near an all-time high.
But do you think, because of what's happening in Canada, what's happening in the Western Europe with Ukraine and Russia, like these are catalysts?
Speed it up.
Yeah. So do you think that could be the first? Like, things are just now starting to take off?
I think that whether or not anyone likes it, there's a couple guys that are watching over this whole situation. And we were in the bear market before this, and their just timing might have changed a little bit about when they want to continue. Because people don't understand how manipulated the markets are. Like, it's a couple guys. It's a couple companies that are probably moving most of the Bitcoin. Most of the Bitcoin's held by people that don't move it. So it's like, guys, there's just rich people. They make the calls. They look at everything. They're the market makers. Like, that's where the money comes from. So you got to think, like, what would you do if you were the market maker? At this point, I'd probably wait for it to pinch 80%, buy my bags, and send it to the fucking moon. That's what they do every single time. They go, let it drop 80% until fear is so great that every little stooge sells his bags. Every last dude with $5,000 in his account sells his bags. And then the whales with all the money buy it all up and send it to the moon, because you don't need that much buy pressure to send the price to the moon. You don't. It has not directly correlated in dollars. It's just liquidity.
Because liquidity would be low, relatively speaking.
And they keep the liquidity low in Hex. And that's a feature, not a bug. That is a feature of Hex, because no one sells it. Therefore, it's pinched. And when people start buying it, it shoots to the goddamn moon with little to no economic mass in proportion to,
relatively speaking, because the liquidity is so low.
Keep researching for a second. I'm going to use the bathroom real quick.
Okay.
I like that I don't have to like we're just in. I feel like I'm like professional. I'm like, we got 4 viewers. They're good. Hey, I'm pissed that the viewership went down.
So I actually got some Delta 8. I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but I'll tell a story about my stopping quitting this smoking.
Give me 1 second.
And then I'm going to ask you about that. So I'm affiliated with a bunch of different companies, and sometimes I get companies that reach out to me because I know the owners or players in the industry or whatever, and they'll be like, hey, how about we send you some free shit and you talk about our shit online, because I make videos online, and this way it gives them attention. So I had a company reach out to me, a spokesperson for a company reach out to me and give me a bunch of Delta 8, which is basically the same thing as weed. It affects the same CB1 and CB2 receptors that weed attaches to. Weed is like Delta 9. And I actually, I don't smoke weed very often, but I wanted to try Delta 8 to see what it was like. So we've got like vape pens, I've got gummies, I've got like a joint thing, and then there might have been another way of administration. And that's been over the last like 10 days or so. And I already knew this with weed, and then I felt the same way with Delta 8, is that it slows me down in my ability, or at least my feeling of ability to take action quicker, to move faster in accomplishing things throughout my day, which is not something that I want to continue to grow. Like, I don't want to continue feeding that. So as of yesterday, I gave the rest of that Delta 8 to a buddy who smokes, and he's going to be using the rest of the Delta 8, and I will no longer be smoking at all. Not that I smoke very often anyway, but I completely decided to cut out weed and all of that stuff. On a side note, relative to Delta 9, Delta 9 is the weed portion. That's the same thing that is in the marijuana plant. Delta 9 is also in the hemp, is in hemp. Hemp is what is used to produce CBD. That's why we've seen this explosion of CBD. What's also in hemp is Delta 9, which was made legal in this, I think it's called the Farm Bill of 2018. So hemp production was made legal. Then you can get CBD. From CBD, you add in like a couple different things to it to get Delta 8, which affects the same receptors as Delta 9. It's just they're not as strong on those receptors. Well, you can also get Delta 9. So companies were just kind of like, they didn't know what to do with the Delta 9, or they keep it below the federal level, which is 0.3% of volume weight of something to have of Delta 9, which is weed. So now we're starting to see the beginnings of legal weed, Scott, legal weed from hemp production, because it's coming from hemp, which according to the law, that the piece of legislation that passed in 2018 is legal to produce, right? Hemp is now legal to produce. Delta 9 comes from hemp, which is the same thing as marijuana. The marijuana plant is legal to produce anything. So now you can take Delta 9, the extraction is a small amount in hemp, and you can take that and sell Delta 9, which is the same thing as weed. And I'm starting to see companies starting to do that. So
yeah, I've smoked all that.
So Scott, have you ever thought about stopping smoking completely?
Yes, of course, and I do on occasion.
Have you ever thought like stopping to see what it was like for 3 months and see something like that?
Yeah, and again, I did not smoke weed or drink after sustained drinking and smoking for 6 years. So I had a lot of experience with sobriety, a lot.
No, I remember that was when we first started talking. You weren't
Very
smoking or drinking.
Relationship with sobriety, and it's the better way to do things. It's the better way to do things for your dopamine receptor activity long term. It really is. That's in my opinion. Like, I think that anything you add to the pot will only negatively affect you at the end of the day, not necessarily in the moment. Like, yeah, so when I smoke weed in the morning, I'm very motivated and creative, and I could go for hours and hours. But at the same time, those are negligible due to frequency, because I can't. In the morning, I just smoke weed, like, straight up. Like, it's not a big. I mean, I just like to smoke weed and do my work. That's it.
Yeah. It's like drinking coffee, but it's not drinking coffee. It's just
I drink tea and I smoke weed, or I drink cold brew and I smoke weed. And I just do it like one time in the morning, and then if I have another stream, I'll do it again. And then if I have another stream, I'll do it again. But I probably smoke anyway. It just depends. Like, I'm pretty much addicted to it right now, but like addicted at the point where it's like I haven't even thought about not doing it. But I've not done it a million times. You know what I mean? Like,
correct.
I know what it's like not to do drugs. I've done it, and it's great. Truthfully, it really is a better way to do things. And that's why people always get confused when I say shit. I'm like, I smoke weed. I don't think it's the right thing to do. That's why there's this podcast called Steak and Bake, and I don't really want to go on it because I don't really think I don't think baking is the best thing to do for like the average person. I'm a little hyperactive, so it probably works with me a little better than some.
Well, that's how I feel about like.
I'm giving it up for Lent today. Today is my last day. COTG. Did we just affect?
Oh, yes. Good. Hey, COTG. I just gave it up yesterday, so congrats. Like, that's awesome.
Do you have any longing for it?
Me, no.
But you're not an addict, dude. I'm telling you. I know you. You're not an addict. You are like you're a spaz and you're ADHD a lot, but you're not a drug addict.
I'm addicted to getting better. Like that's what I'm addicted.
Yeah, me too. But like my battle right now is not that. You know, like but that will be my battle. Like I will have that.
Like whether that's 3 months or 9 months or next year, I agree.
I won't be smoking long term, guys. There's no way because it's just like Sam. I do the same. I take things out one at a time. One at a time. I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna turn into a YouTube streamer. Okay, next thing. Like once I'm doing that and it's on part of my life. Next thing, all right, I'm gonna clean up my diet 100%. Next thing, like I have to do things slow. I just did a total transformation, and that's the way that I do things. But I have 100% confidence in myself that I will execute everything exactly right because I'm so motivated. It's sick.
Do you? So with me, when I smoke, the best time that I would feel for myself would be, or at least from a productivity standpoint, is in the evening right before bed, because otherwise it slows like the interaction. Like if I'm having an interaction, it's like a beautiful interaction, and I enjoy the interactions while I smoke. But then
it's just frequency. It's just frequency in doses.
It slows.
If you took a half a hit of weed, I mean, like a literally, and that's what it's like to me to take a bong rip because I do it so often. But like back in the day when I smoked it, if I went to the gym and I smoked, it would just be like one hit out of a one hitter. For a long time, it just gets progressively more weed. You just don't smoke weed as much as I do. Literally, like if you smoked weed every day, you wouldn't have a problem doing everything while you're smoking weed. But you have never gained momentum in that way because it's just been counterproductive. I'm so hyperactive, dude. I am sickly hyperactive. Like when I wake up in the morning, it's like an Energizer bunny rips into my soul. And I'm like, I would love to lay down for another 10 minutes, but I physically cannot because my brain starts going. It just starts thinking. And I'm like, let me get to my notepad, open the notepad, put it there, to-do list. It's like the same thing every single day. And it's like OCD. I have OCD.
No, okay. So when you get up, because I'm curious to actually hear about what you do when you first thing get up. Like this morning, I got up at 5:40, maybe just after 5:40. And between 5:40 and like 6:27-ish, I was, in my opinion, not doing a ton of things that were super productive. Like playing on my phone, I took a shit, that's productive, right? But like I wasn't doing anything extreme. And then at 6:27, it was like, okay, I'm writing down my goals. I'm reading through my to-do list that I wrote out last night before I went to bed, and I'm just executing from that point. But there's still those moments where it's like I'm not executing at the highest level that I feel I can. How is your morning when you get up? Is it just immediate?
That's when I'm absolutely nuclear. Like I get 90% of the things done before noon that I have to do for the day. Like I'm very productive in the morning. Like I don't eat. I drink coffee. I don't eat in the morning at all. At all. I don't even think about food. I still haven't thought about food today, to be honest. I haven't eaten a thing.
Wow. So you'll just start going as soon as you're up. Are you showering, shitting?
I sit right here. I don't do shit. I just walk straight to the seat. I start writing to-do lists because I'm so ADHD. I know that I have to be next to my notepad when I'm thinking. Like that's like my goal is like if my brain starts going, I need to be near my notepad because I'll come up with dope ideas like the Bullish Bodybuilder podcast. That was on a whim while I was thinking. I just wrote it down on my notepad. You know, stuff like that. Like I just like to be near my notepad. I like to be attached to my notepad, guys. Like you can't live without it. I have whiteboards, but I'm going back to the notebook. And this is what I do in the morning. So I write, like tomorrow morning, I'll write, first page is always to-do list. And then if I have a stream with Sam, I'll write stream with Sam. And then if I have to move crypto, I'll say this is my crypto notes page. So I make all the spots in the morning where I can put that are already spots where I can put the stuff. And then the next day I just do it again. I don't think about what page it's on, but I put the date. But if you have a spot where every potential, like what could I potentially be working on today? Affiliate links. So I'll put business on one, and that'll be the whole, because you usually won't need a full page of notes more for one section per day. So like, because I hate getting cluttered on my page.
I sometimes I start new lists because I have mine. Well, this is a different one. My other one's in the kitchen, but where I'll have my to-do list, and it's generally 3/4 of a page long. But throughout the day, I come up with other things that I need to do or want to get accomplished, or just ideas that I want to research more or whatever. And sometimes I'll rewrite my list because it's.
Yeah, that's why I say just have the notebook, guys. Doesn't matter if it's organized at all, really. Mine's not organized at all. It's just like, and I need, like, just like Sam said, if I need a new page, like I need a new page. Like, let's go.
Just move on.
Right, and that's exactly how I am. I am not like, this is not like me erasing things. I'll rip the fucking page out because yesterday my list was this big and I did like 3 or 4 things on it, I think. Like, I got my Trezor or whatever. I wanted to buy another Trezor, so I bought that. I had to call to get my mortgage I took my payment off my mortgage so I can do it manually. So I had to do that manually, and I had to make sure I was doing that right, which I still haven't done.
Question for you on the mortgage, and this is on a tangent. Do you know if you're still paying PMI?
No, but I could look.
Because
what is that?
PMI is personal mortgage insurance. If you are still paying it, you can probably file some paperwork and get yourself to drop it because you bought your house, 3 or 4 years ago, right?
Yeah, so I have more equity than even.
There's enough. You're going to have more than 20%. And I just filed paperwork and I might.
Personal what?
PMI, personal mortgage insurance. So if you're, that's just $100 more in your pocket. I don't know what your payment is, but like mine
if you were me, would you just go ahead, since I know I'm not going to be doing any other job for a few months other than whatever I can get my freaking dirty little grubby hands on over here? Do you suggest that I just start moving on that line of credit since it doesn't necessarily change anything if you don't spend it?
Yes. But remember what I called you about this the next day afterwards. You were like, hey, I'm looking at this thing. I called you the next morning. I was like, hey, have you ever thought of us? We got distracted because we're talking about other fucking shit.
Well, I went through with it and the dude was trying to sell me on the refi.
But I think it's a little bit because he gets paid in refis. He doesn't get paid.
Yeah, but he was a nice dude. And I was telling him, I was like, dude, I'm going to look into all this shit and not do it if it's the right thing. Like,
but it might.
He said it was the best way to do it because he said, I'll pay off all your debt. First of all, he was like, I'll pay off all your debt with your shit. So he was going to clear my debt with the money. And I was like, fuck, I don't have much debt. Like,
you got a car that's
as minimal as a human could have. And he was like, yeah, your rate will go up $300 a month, but you'll get a $30,000 loan and we're going to pay off all your debt.
So the loan is like, I only owe 105 on this house. So if I went, right? Yeah, but basically you're getting all the cash, but you start paying it right away. The HELOC is nice because it's an option that's just there if you need it, but it doesn't cost anything. Some companies.
So as far as the HELOC, can I just go ahead and move on? Because I'm as responsible as fuck, dudes. Like, you guys have no idea. Like, yes, I got hacked and I learned about that, but I am very responsible and diligent, and I can sit in this house and rot for years. Listen to me.
Would your dad be flexible? Because it could be challenging now because you don't have any income.
Flexible with what?
So like for me, if you're self-employed, they need 2 years of W-2, or they need 2 years of tax.
Oh shit, I'm fucked. I forgot about that. I can't do it. I'm fucked. No, my dad would never.
Okay.
He's morally just like different. Like, he doesn't fuck with anything like that.
Okay.
But no, that's fine. No, but I could still do the refi one, right? Well, I need proof of insurance. I can't. Oh, so I need income. Well, fuck it. That'll be a good thing then. Then I can just use that when I do have income.
Correct.
See, guys, you can always frame things like don't look forward. Just keep looking, keep asking. I'm poking at Sam. I want to know what he knows. He's poking at me, wants to know what I got to see the best option. He didn't even know about crypto fucking 5 weeks ago. And now he's like balls deep in crypto learning, and it's crazy. It's just like, keep poking away at it. I don't care if I don't have my refi. I will make enough money, guys. It's not that hard to make a little bit of money.
Okay. And remember, we talked about it like off air, but I think we did it off air. Maybe it's a video that I'll release today, I think, actually. But you only need like $800 a month. Like, that's nothing.
I got a call with the guy today. about some social media marketing, and I got the affiliate link.
And so one of the, at least for me, I don't know if everybody's had this experience from going from working corporate, like I was working in banking, right? And then going from banking to doing my own thing. It's everybody's, my perspective is completely different because you go from, oh, a W-2 job, that's safe, right? But when you think about it and you take a step back, you have one stream of income. Then you go from doing that. Now I have many streams of income. So it's which one's actually riskier? One stream of income or multiple streams of income? Because now I'm working for myself and I get some money here, I get some money there, I get some money here, I get some money there, and all those pieces are much smaller pieces. But now if one of them goes away, it's not a fucking issue because I have money coming in from multiple different angles. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm special or I'm like do anything crazy. Like I'm just now for the last couple of months making more than what I need to live on. Right. And it hasn't been, now it's consistently more than what I need to live on. But that wasn't like I quit 2-3 fucking years ago, 2019 December. So it's
what point are you at, P? What point are you at, P? What were you? P says, I'm at that point. I'm at that point. Yes. Are you talking about, what point are you at, P? Let's hear it. I'm ready to hear that. I want to see what you're willing. Regular jobs are so boring. I mean, people love them. Don't get me wrong. And I love security and I love people feeling like they have something to lean on. But oh my God, so much better not doing that stuff.
And I see it as more being powerful. So much more risky working for a company.
It's my God, they'll fire your ass and take a piss on you. And if you died the next day, they would care less. Quitting, LOL.
So, okay, Paul, so let me tell you real quick about her, but everybody, about I was working for myself. I had a landscaping company down here in Florida. And I grew the company. It was my brother's company. I bought 50% of it, grew it very quickly. I was like, hey, I'm not going to do this anymore. You want to sell it? And he was like, no, I'm going to continue running. I was like, okay, perfect. I'm going to go do something else. So I went into banking because that was my background in finance and accounting. And within 60 days of being at this job, I was telling my girlfriend, I was like, I am definitely not going to do this. And I was smoking, and it was October 31st, and I'm laying in bed, and I had just had the day where my boss is in the back office of the bank with myself and another manager. So I ran a branch. And my boss is talking shit about a teller. And I'm like, fantastic. Not only do I have to be the leader of the people in the branch, but I also have to lead my boss because they're literally talking shit instead of being a fucking leader. I was like, there's no way I'm going to stay here. And it was that point where the next day, I started creating 5 YouTube videos a day for 100 days. Because I was like, I don't know what to do. I know I can make money from YouTube. I made a little bit of money from YouTube in the past, but I wasn't making any money online. I was like 5 videos a day. I'd drive into work, make a video on my phone. Driving into work. On lunch break, I'd drive home, make a video. On the way back into work, I'd film myself.
He doesn't like putting herself out there as far as the internet stuff.
There's a million things
you can do.
You don't need to be like what we're doing where your face is exposed to everything. There's so many other things you can do.
I could make money for someone that could help me. You know what I mean? Like I could have a job for somebody that could make them money just because I don't have enough time to do some certain things. You know what I mean? Like there's some certain things that I could, not for P obviously, but in general, like there's so much stuff that people need help with. I got a guy calling me about social media marketing today. I don't know what the fuck about social media marketing, but he knows that I'm good at it. And he knows that takes money to do it. And he knows that I'm detail oriented, and he knows that I put myself out there, and he knows that I'm accountable because I come on here every day and I say the same stuff. You know,
and so she or you or everybody start taking that action that gives you that cushion. So during that time, I saved 75% of every dollar that came in. So that means you make $1,000, $750, and I was making 6 figures. So like a lot of money just went straight into savings. Boom, savings.
I'm just waiting for the next bull run. You're going to have exposure, and we're just done.
Yes, and this is going to be a ton of fun.
Because you're going to have exposure whether you like it or not. Projects like Hedron and Mintra can do 100x's like it's a fucking nothing. But that's not a lot. 100x isn't a lot. But I'm saying like even projects that you dabble in, it's called free internet money because other people are going to be figuring this out in the future. Other men like Sam are going to come to this website, see it and buy it. They won't know what the value started at. Well, they will if they look at the chart, but who cares really if it's a great product that's moving?
You have people buying Dogecoin, and you have people like
Shibi
or whatever. Yeah.
Shibi Inu, and then there's stuff Pulse Doge, there's Pulse Doge, there's Pulse Shib, like there's all this crap. It's just crap. It's all crap. It's just a freaking meme. But guess what? It gives validity to the fact that the financial industry is crap. It does. It really that you're only as good as your lowest partner. You're only as good as the lowest denominator, and people are outpacing you with the dog picture.
Which is crazy, right? Because you have something that's utterly
It has more value. No, it has more value. It has more value. That's what people don't understand. It has more value than the stocks that did worse than it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's a picture of a dog. The only reason GM is Ford F-150. If everyone forgot about it today, the stock would go to zero. Everyone would be like, "What the fuck is an F-150? We know about Hex, but what's this F-150 thing?" And we'd be like, "Wait, you don't know about F-150? It's been around. That's amazing." And then be like, "Oh, wait, it only matters if people say and hear and market."
I'm gonna pull up. This is on a side note, but maybe think about pulling this up before we get off of here. This is the crypto.com industry report that they do, I think, annually. This chart here on the left is the industry. They're calling the industry appetite. So this does this is financial services, gaming, hospitality, digital, blah blah blah. The green bar is the companies, I think, right here, merchants, right? And the blue bar is people. So I find this kind of interesting because, like how you said, people in Doge are killing people who are just like in the stock market, or like even in these shitty things, they're still doing better than people in legacy. And
the technology's better.
What's that?
The tech's better.
Yeah,
it's more efficient.
Look who's adopting this though. Luxury goods, the merchants are adopting this because they understand that.
Who's the merchants?
The merchants are the companies. So like the the shit that Richard Hart brings on, right? Yeah. I'm sure that he can pay for those with crypto. Because
wait, he pay for you mean his jewels and goods?
Correct.
Yeah, he pays,
you're gonna go buy $50,000 worth of clothes and shit. Cool. You can pay for that in crypto because the merchant understands that they need to satisfy the customer wants to.
Oh yeah, if he wants to spend $1 million at your store in crypto, you will accept $1 million in crypto.
Correct.
So yes, luxury good owners know that rich people have crypto up their wahoo.
Also interesting is in retail and grocery. It looks like merchants are trying to figure out how to take crypto, or will be, but if this has any relevance to reality, the report.
I don't think it does. Personally, I don't think crypto will adopt as a unit of payment very soon, unless it's USDC. Like they'll accept crypto as the dollar, but I don't think I don't think crypto will be used. Like, I don't think anyone will use Bitcoin to buy anything. Why would I buy with my Bitcoin that goes up in price when my dollars go down in price?
Yes.
I'll just use my fiat. I just want fiat to buy the things that I need to buy. Everything else must stay in there, or I lose so much value that it hurts me.
Do you think it's going to continue to be more things like different stable coins that are just going to be
there's a stable coin for everything. Everything has a stable coin. So that's what makes it crypto, kind of. Like there is not really, but like there is a stable coin. That's important. That's extremely important. Like the stable coin is extremely important for the connection between the legacy finance system, and all stable coins are not created equal.
Why do you think that's the connection?
Just because like the asset goes up and down in price so heavily that like tomorrow I'll be paying $1,000 of hex for something, and the next day I'll be paying 300 for it. And people don't like that. That's just too much sketchiness. Like they have to be like some of my portions in the dollar, because you'll notice this when people's accounts get bigger, they keep 5% in USDC just because shit goes down and they want opportunities and there's other projects, and having USDC makes you eligible to do a lot. You could do a lot with USDC. You could swap it for everything and you could send it to anywhere and it's pegged for the dollar. That's kind of how I see it. But there's a lot of liquidity problems with USDC and the other stables too within the own companies. Like there's a lot of bad stuff that goes on in the liquidity department at the stablecoin level.
Question. Now that we're talking about this, it made me think of a question. Using MetaMask. So if I'm using MetaMask, there's a thing in MetaMask that if you scroll over to one side, I've only done it once, which allows you to switch or trade, or it comes up. It's like Uniswap and all these other different things. Is that how you personally go through and take something and switch it for something else? Is within MetaMask? I guess
Well, the fees are probably worse within MetaMask than they are if you go to an independent site. I use matcha.xyz. So if you go to matcha.xyz or 1inch.io. Wait, can you use 1inch in the United States? I don't use 1inch, but people mention 1inch constantly. But I think the one in the United States, it's either 1inch or matcha. Those are the ones with the cheapest fees to swap.
Which one did you say you used? Matcha? MATCH?
Yeah, matcha.xyz. I think that's what the website URL is. Did it come up?
MATCHA. Okay, yes, it did. Okay, got it. And can you tell me real quick how this works? Like, how does?
So basically, you open your MetaMask. Don't do it.
Yep. No, I'm not. No, just
okay.
So
I just making sure. But
you
just open your MetaMask, and there's a button that says connect to your MetaMask, and then you do the transaction. It's just a dApp that connects to your MetaMask.
Oh, okay. And is that how all DEXs work?
Mm-hmm. Well, MetaMask is very compatible. That's why people like to use it. Other wallets aren't as compatible as MetaMask. It's compatible with almost everything because it's the most mainstream and everyone's done the programming for it. Most mainstream around here, I guess, as far as I hear, in the Pulse community, in the Hex community. Hex has the most volume on Uniswap. Hex coin. This is the coin that everyone says is a scam. Other than ETH and Bitcoin, it has the most volume out of every freaking coin.
And stable coins.
Well, yeah, stables are above that.
Yeah, but that's crazy. Solana.
Everything.
Cardano,
Every other coin, anyone you can name. Any coin you can literally name on the Ethereum network. Hex. Guys, look at the numbers, guys. Keep your eyes on the numbers and the volume.
So that was a very interesting piece of information because there's a lot of activity out there, even though there's a lot of suppression. Is at some point that it comes over that hump, bro, and if there's going to be some type of large action in the price.
Why don't we go to hex.vision and check out the stats for the day?
Okay, let me pull it up real quick.
I can pull it up real quick.
Okay, perfect. Because that came out yesterday, right? Hex is the largest trading volume on Uniswap.
Well, Richard announced that yesterday, but I don't think that's been the truth since the start of Uniswap. It's always been that way, but remember, everything. Don't tell people where the real money is, because the rich people don't care that much about the virality and all that. That's coming with the product. They understand the product. Like, they understand the stickiness. They understand the APY. They understand they understand that it's immutable. Once you understand.
Well, it's also probably because of that suppression, right? Because Coinbase or CoinMarketCap, Gecko, whatever it's called, and the other ones, they don't even list. I mean, they list it, but they don't say that it's in the top 10 coins.
No, that's in the. Whoops.
Should be when you click on share, there should be an option for tabs before you share the screen, and it should allow you to pick the specific tab you want to share, I think.
Yep.
At least that's what it did for me.
Yeah, you're good. Okay. So, look. Current address was at 400,000 about 3 weeks ago for current total addresses.
430 right here, right?
Yeah, it was 400,000 roughly 3 weeks ago when I checked last. It just passed the 99,000 unique address barrier. It usually tells you how many people staked. Oh, hold on. Here we go. So if you look at Uniswap V2.
Do you ever use Uniswap V2, or is that more expensive than the one you just mentioned?
No, Uniswap is good. For the amount of money we're using, every DEX other than MetaMask is good because MetaMask does charge a little extra.
Yeah, there's a tiny fee percentage. I didn't follow through with that. I wanted to ask you about that. Okay.
US Uniswap liquidity. There's 668 Ethereum in the Uniswap liquidity pool, and there's 14,000.
Highlight it so we can see where you're pointing at, like looking at.
Right here.
Okay, 14 million. Okay.
And that's
So
just in V2. So each DEX has a pool. Each DEX has liquidity. People provide liquidity. This is how much liquidity can be bought up at this moment. 14 million hex and 668 Ethereum worth. So if someone's buying, they're going to be buying into that. So they would.
Okay, so let's touch on that real quick. So for Uniswap 2, 1 and 3, people will stake their hex on Uniswap for liquidity for the platform?
No, I don't know how you provide liquidity directly. I don't understand how you provide liquidity. I think you just have limit orders in. It's just like everyone's limit orders. You know,
we should talk. We should talk to somebody who knows about that shit.
I am on Thursday. On Thursday, I am. So I'm having one of the best analytical minds in Hex come in. So I'll write that for that interview. Whales.
And how they get that.
How to provide DEX liquidity? Question mark. Yeah, I'm having a
because I don't understand that. I would like to learn more about that.
Yeah, me too. So let's talk about the staking. So
can we see staking over time? Is that what this is?
So this is the number of stakes. This is all the stakes. I'm trying to figure out. I remember you used to be able to see. Oh, I see how you change this. So watch. You have to just switch the calendar on it. I forgot you had to switch the calendar.
So there's already 250,000 stakes that have closed. That's interesting. Those must have been really short term.
Yeah, there's lots of short stakes. So let's see the daily stats once it loads.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get the stats to come up.
Which ones are you looking for?
I want to see how many stakes started in the last 24 hours. But I don't exactly.
Can you hover over the purple line for the day? Will that tell you?
There used to be a spot that would tell you. Let's look at some other. Let me go to Hex. Look into Hex. I want to see what the look into Hex site provides.
If they have any analytics like that, I don't know. Stock
to flow. What is stock to flow? Adoption. Ooh, look at this.
Yeah, click at the adoption one.
Look at this. Hold on. Let's see if there's any other ones. Okay. Quarterly ROI, maximum ROI.
Let's look at the adoption because I think that's going to give us the idea of the
Metcalfe's law that the value of the communications network is proportional to the square of the number of its users. Okay. This is Gerardo made this, the guy who made Mintra.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, so this is his website. This is his name to fame. So if you see here, current hex holders here in blue, we got total hex holders here in, what is that? Let's see here.
Hundreds of thousands.
So I see the adoption rate compared to Ethereum is what we're dealing with here.
Okay, so we have total current holders and total holders.
Yeah. So we have current holders, current hex, current stakers. Oh, I see. So the top number is the OA included. The bottom number is not the OA included.
Oh, is that what it is?
Well, yeah, because this is total and this is just everyone that's
stakers. I got you. That makes sense. And then
so I mean, the adoption chart doesn't look amazing, but I mean, Ethereum was so early and the technology was so incredible. Like that will look more like what Pulse Chain will look like, that adoption chart, because of the system of it is equally proportional. Hex isn't really a direct correlation with Ethereum as far as the product. It's not a layer one. So I don't really like this chart, to be honest, myself. But he probably knows a lot more than I do.
If we take a look here, I wonder what the adoption rate is, like the slope of the line, if the slope of the line has changed. But there's no way to tell from the chart. But it is interesting. That would be
but the greatest chart of all charts is the that Gerardo made is this one. I mean, when you look at from launch of the two greatest cryptocurrencies in history, like that one's hard to mess with. Like we're above all of them on an 80% dip, middle of the bear market, max FUD, and we have never crossed below what the two greatest cryptocurrencies have done. And to cross below this point would be pretty detrimental. Like I doubt that will ever happen. Like we might, let's see it. What is it up here?
So listen to this idea real quick. So you can keep this chart up here.
Right here is where we're looking at. Right here is where we're looking at. And that's like that $10 point right there.
10, is that what that is?
That'll be it. Because this is 54 cents right here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that would be a 10x from that. So that'd be like $5.54 will be right here. And that'll give us another, let's see how many days roughly. That'll be roughly 200 days.
So I was thinking for myself, I'm in the process. I don't know if you saw this, my story on Instagram, in the real estate, right? So they won't I talked to eight different banks. They won't give me a HELOC on this property because it's held in an LLC. So I can go through and file this thing. It's called a quit claim deed, and it just basically allows me to transfer the title from my LLC to myself. And then I can go apply for it. And then I can fucking transfer that shit back as soon as they give me money. But the point of it is, I was thinking about taking some of that capital, and because I'll pay, 4%, 5% on that, take that and put it into crypto. And I will pay that for my earnings that I'm making in the physical world, take a portion of that, get in now.
Take your interest off your first stake. Just take the interest off your first stake, and you'll probably have enough to cover the loan.
Well, to explain to me how that. What do you mean by that?
You stake Hex out for a year, and you know it's coming out at the end of the year with your interest. You could probably just use that stake alone as your interest gaining stake. Like that's the one you want to pay back the loan with. Everything else you can just have other stakes that are longer and because
gotcha.
you can just do a shorter stake with a larger amount of money, and that can just be the payback money, and then you can just throw the other shit deep.
Or get into Hedron and access that in 1 year when I'm ready, or whenever, right? When there is a bull run, there is a bull run, use Hedron so I don't have to sell any Hex, and then pull that capital to pay this loan back.
Or Hex, you're going to have Hex on the Pulse chain. You're going to have Hedron on the Pulse chain. You're going to get a copy of all your stakes on the Pulse chain, meaning you're going to get a double. If you have one T share right now, that's 6 Hex per day. You're going to have another 6 Hex per day on the other without doing anything. So you're locking in that rate.
That's going to be really interesting to see what happens when.
It's going to be a lot of dumping. It's going to be a dumpy time. There's going to be a couple dumpy weeks. So just be prepared. That's the time to buy. You want to get a couple stakes in there, but no one knows what the price is going to do long term. So you want to get a little bit of stake in the game. Make sure you got some stakes ready for the Pulse chain, but you definitely want to have dry powder ready to make moves. Dry powder would be fiat.
Yeah, it's going to take me 30 days to get this money, 45 days maybe to get this money situated, and then I can take some of that in there.
You'll be right in the money zone. Even if it comes out, it'll just be chaos. You'll probably be anxious, but
it'll be good. Well, I think this is probably a good time that we can wrap things up.
Yep. Let's do it, guys. Follow Sam Stolt if you're watching this, and go to his channel, his YouTube channel, his Instagram profile, his Twitter. He does things with pharmaceuticals. He does things with supplementation. He does things with gym. And he does other stuff too. So give him a follow, guys. Episode 2 of the Bullish Bodybuilders podcast is finished. Sam, your final thoughts.
I enjoyed this one. I think this flew, the flow of it was actually better than it was yesterday. I learned some good stuff today, and I'm looking forward to episode 3. I appreciate you and acknowledge you for taking the time and putting all this together. So thank you for that. And Paula and anybody else that is still in the comments, I think that might be it. But anybody else who listened or who watched till this point, if you watched till this point, you send me an email at sam.letstalkpeds.com. I'll send you a free gift of one of the supplements. So if you're still watching.
Yeah, can I get an affiliate link on some shit? Come on now.
Of course, dude. Of course.
I
Of
could sell
course.
some shit. I like some of the products too.
Yeah, dude. I could set
I
that up for
use
you.
some of them. I use some of them personally, not all the time, but on occasion, I like to use Kratom.
Correct. And I think of them as tools. I don't think you can.
What do you use? Last point for me. What do you use for focus, if anything?
Caffeine. I feel like one of the things that are really helpful for me to focus is like writing down my goals.
Yeah.
No, honestly, it's not like any like hack or anything.
Yeah, but like as far as amphetamines and everything, do you just stay away?
Bro, I stopped everything. Because like what you said earlier, where you're like, inevitably in the end, I think less is better for the whole entity of yourself.
Unless you have like an acute event. Like that's the only reason.
Yeah, Kratom.
Like an acute event where you're like, fuck, I'm gonna get fucked here. I might lose my job, I need to grind for 2 days straight and I have no option. Maybe you would want
Modafinil.
Modafinil, something that a lot of people like to use because that is not stimulant. It's just a narcolepsy drug to make you actually stay awake, which is cool. So, because really most people are just tired because their diets suck and they don't exercise and they suck at life. All right. All right, guys. Have a great day. Good to see everyone. Sam, thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Peace out, dude.